Daily Science. I am the representative reporter of our group, The Intangibles, from PSA 2A, and I'm going to discuss the topic of the cash basis to accrual basis of accounting. So without further ado, let's begin. Accrual basis of accounting has the standards wherein the effect of transactions and other events are recognized when they occur, and they are being recorded in the accounting record and reported in the financial statement on the periods to which they relate. Or in other words, under the accrual basis of accounting, income is recognized when earned, regardless of when cash is received, and expense is recognized when incurred, regardless of when cash is paid. Cash basis of accounting. Commonly, small and medium-sized entities or MSEs use the cash basis of accounting, which means they recognize income when they receive cash or recognize expense when they paid. The main difference between accrual and cash basis of accounting lies in the timing of when revenue and expenses are recognized. The cash method is a more immediate recognition of revenue and expense, while the accrual method focuses on anticipated revenue and expense. For example, a company operating under accrual basis of accounting will record a sale as soon as it issues an invoice to a customer, while a cash basis company would instead wait to be paid before it records the sale. Similarly, an accrual basis company will record an expense as incurred, while a cash basis company will instead wait to pay its suppliers before recording the expense. Cash basis of accounting are not generally accepted accounting principle, meaning to say it is not allowed to use and present its information for public purpose. On the other hand, accrual basis of accounting is the one that is generally accepted accounting principle, as it follows the rules or principles wherein the financial statement shall be prepared or presented in such way. So just in case the company had presented its financial statement on cash basis, it is necessary to conduct a conversion into accrual basis of accounting. But before to do that, let's discuss first the different concept of cash and accrual basis of accounting. On this table, we can see the difference between the cash and accrual basis of accounting according to: first, sales. Under cash, total sales are equal to cash sales plus collections on credit sales plus advances from clients. While accrual, total sales are equal to cash sales plus credit sales, regardless collected or not, as long as it is earned already. And advances from clients under accrual basis are excluded because it is still not earned, therefore it is considered as liabilities under the accrual basis of accounting. Next, purchases. Under cash, total purchases include cash purchases plus payments on credit purchases plus advances paid to suppliers. Accrual, total purchases include cash purchases plus credit purchases, regardless received or not, as long as it is incurred already. And also, advances paid to suppliers are excluded in accrual basis, since it is still an income on the company itself. Next, cost of goods sold. Cash basis purchases adjusted for change in beginning and ending inventories. Accrual basis purchases adjusted for changes in beginning and in ending inventories. Income other than sales. Under cash basis, only deferred income are recognized. Deferred income are those advances and unearned income, meaning to say it is already received but not yet earned. While accrual, only accrued income. Accrued income are those income earned and whether received or not, it is still recognized in accrual basis, as long as it is earned already. Deferred and accrued income are totally different to each other, since under the cash basis of accounting, the accrued income is excluded, and on the other hand, accrual basis of accounting excluded the deferred income. Note that under cash basis, income are recognized when received, and under accrual basis, income is recognized when earned. Expense other than depreciation and doubtful expenses. Under cash basis, only prepaid expense. Prepaid expense are those expenses that is already paid but not yet incurred, while accrual only accrued expense. And accrued expense are those expenses that is already incurred but not yet paid. Income tax expense. Under cash, recognized only for payment made, while accrual recognized considering deferred tax expense. Depreciation. Under cash and accrual, it is provided both normally. Depreciation is exception to the rule of cash basis since it provides normally under the cash basis of accounting. Bad debts. Under cash, no bad debts are recognized because receivables are not recognized. Accrual. Bad debts are recognized for receivables whose collection is doubtful. Amortization of discount or premium on financial statements. Under cash, no discount or premium is recognized. Interest, income, or expense is recognized for cash collections or payments. Under accrual, the effective interest method is used for financial instruments measured at amortized cost. Fair value gains or losses on assets and liabilities. Under cash, it is not recognized, while accrual, it is recognized. And lastly, other comprehensive income. Under cash, it is not recognized, and accrual, it is recognized. So here is an example of illustration problem. Many transactions overlap reporting periods. Example, ABC Co. reporting period runs for 6 months from January 1 to June 30. On January 1, ABC Co. pays a total of 1,200 pesos in advance for the insurance for the next 12 months. Fiscal year can start and end at any point of the year, as long as it comprises a pool of 12 months or 52 weeks. Then, this time, it overlaps the reporting period. Sa example, nagbayad ang company ng insurance expense for 12 months. Kapag cash basis of accounting ang pinag-uusapan, yung 1,200 na binayad niya nung as advance payment for January to December are recognized as expense for the whole year. But on accrual basis of accounting, it allocates every month. Kung magkano lang yung na-expense or nagamit that time, yun lang ang i-record, which means on that 6 months of the year, 600 pesos lang ang i-recognize niya for the reporting period. Then the rest is for the next reporting period. So, panibagong illustration problem tayo. During March, ABC Co. had credit sales of 2,000 pesos. The debtor won't pay for another 6 months. In addition, a debtor from February repaid 600 pesos. Dito naman, may sales ang company, kaso utang noong March. March is the reporting period on cash basis of accounting. Yung credit sales walang record kasi di pa niya natatanggap yung bayad. But on accrual basis of accounting, regardless kung nagbayad siya or hindi, mag-record ka pa rin, which is debit accounts receivable 2,000 and credit sales 2,000. Pero mayroon raw nagbayad na debtor noong February ng 600 pesos. So, under the cash basis, kapag may nagbayad, doon lang mag-record. Kaya nag-record siya ng 600 noong March lang kung kailan nagbayad yung debtor from February. Parehas nilang nakolekta pero different records kasi different ang basis of accounting nila. The difference between expense accruals and deferrals are summarized in the table below. Accrual. Accrue if the expense has been incurred but the cash has not yet been paid. Accrued expenses are a liability of the business. The adjusting journal entry will be between an expense and a liability account. Deferral. Defer if the cash has been paid but the expense has not yet been incurred. Deferred expenses are an asset of the business. The adjusting journal entry will be between an expense and an asset account. So here is the conversion of cash to accrual basis of accounting under the sales. Trade receivables at the beginning are simply the total accounts receivable and note receivable at the beginning balance. Kasi ang trade receivables ay nag-exist lang kapag nakapagbenta na or through sales. And all accounts from beginning are last year balance, therefore all accounts from ending are this year balance. Credit sales will be added since our journal entry is to debit accounts receivable or notes receivable and credit sales. Less collections since kapag nakapag-collect tayo, our journal entry will be debit cash and credit accounts receivable or notes receivable. Of course, depende kung ano ang binayaran. Kapag nakapagbayad sila within the discount period, net sales na ang binabayaran nila since entitled na sila sa sales discount. So, another debit sales discounts account. Meaning, ililess natin ang sales discount account. And sales, returns, and allowance are also be deducted. Cash refunds, kapag nakapagbayad ka ng buo and may defect, nung isinauli mo, cash ang ibabalik sa'yo. While credit memo naman is sa utang mo ibabawas yung defect na nabili mo. Same with sales, na kapag may nagsauli sa'yo ng defect, kung cash ang ibinalik, cash refunds. And kung on accounts mo, ibabawas credit memo of sales. Since magko-convert tayo into accrual basis, it is assumed that it is on account receivable. So credit memos ang gagamitin at cash refunds are excluded. Lastly, less the write-off since journal entry allowance for doubtful accounts are debited and accounts receivable or notes receivables credited. So this is now the computation of the trade receivables at the ending balance. And then we will try to squeeze the credit sales. Squeeze meaning binabaliktad. Just add back all the accounts from trade receivables ending balance until collections, then less trade receivables at the beginning. The answer will be now are the gross credit sales. The cash sales less the refunds add gross credit sales less credit memo on sales will be the total sales. Thus, under the accrual basis of sales, cash sales is increased that credit sales and decreases the advances from clients. Conversion under purchases naman tayo. So, ang starting point natin dito would be the trade payables at the beginning. And these are actually the sum of accounts payable and notes payable. At i-add natin dito ang total purchases. Then, less the payments. In addition, the payments should be considered as inclusive of cash purchases. The purchase discounts would be a deduction, and the purchase returns and allowance are also be a deduction under the credit memo. The answer would be equals to trade payables at the end. And once again, ang total purchase ay kinakailangan i-squeeze under the accrual basis of net purchases. The gross purchase is less by purchase discount and purchase returns and allowance. And the answer would be total purchase. Under the accrual basis of cost of goods sold, the beginning inventory, add net purchase, add freight in is equals to cost of goods available for sale, less ending inventory is equals to cost of goods sold. Same with sales is the computation for purchases. Doon sa cash basis of accounting, ang purchase returns and allowance na isinasama sa net purchase ay only cash refunds. But in accrual, cash refunds and credit memo must be less to get the net purchase, which also coincide to the computation of cost of goods sold. Since part of the items in the computation of cost of goods sold is the net purchases. Thus, the accrual basis of cost of goods sold is computed using the accrual basis purchase adjusted with the change in inventories during the period. Lastly, under the accrual basis, the purchases increase by credit purchases and decreases by advances paid to the supplier. I-convert naman natin ang income other than sales. Our starting point here is the income under the cash basis of accounting. There are two accounts may be considered here. Yung tinatawag nating deferred income, beginning and ending, at accrued income, beginning and ending as well. And our ending point here is the income under the accrual basis of accounting. So, balik tayo sa definition. Deferred income are those income that is already received but not yet earned. And accrued income are those income that is already earned but not yet received. So, kailangan natin malaman kung alin sa mga iyan ang kailangan natin idagdag or ibawas. First, ang deferred income at the beginning ay last year pa. So, assuming that this year ay na-receive na siya, kaya kailangan natin siyang i-add. At ang deferred income at the end ay this year naman at hindi pa siya nare-receive, so kailangan naman natin siyang i-deduct. Sa accrued income naman at the beginning, since last year pa siya na-recognize as earned income, so ililess natin siya this time on income under accrual. Accrued income at the end, yan yung pang this year. Since it is already earned this time but not yet received, therefore i-add natin siya. Conversion of expense other than depreciation expense and doubtful accounts expense. This method is similar to income other than sales conversion into accrual basis of accounting, wherein instead we start here at expense under cash basis of accounting. And there are also two accounts we consider, the prepaid expense, beginning and end, accrued expense, beginning and end as well. Only the prepaid expense at the beginning and accrued expense at the end are may subject to addition on the accounts. On the other hand, prepaid expense at the end and accrued expense at the beginning are may subject to deduction on the accounts. And lastly, the ending point here is the net expense under the accrual basis of accounting. Other items of income and expenses under IFRS are recognized: depreciation and amortization, bad debts and impairment losses, discount or premium amortization on debt instruments measured at amortized cost, fair value gains or losses on accounts and liabilities required or permitted under IFRS to be accounted for at fair value, other comprehensive income, income tax allocation, and to compute the allowance for doubtful accounts ending balance or the balance for this year, allowance for doubtful accounts the beginning balance plus doubtful accounts expense minus the written off accounts, add the recoveries. That will be all for today. Thank you.